It will train your mind to see speaking English as an opportunity to grow, not a task to be feared. The more you believe in your ability to improve, the less fear you'll feel. 5. Practice speaking in safe environments. If you're feeling nervous about speaking in front of others, start practicing in safe environments where you won't feel judged. This could be in front of a mirror, with a language partner, or by recording yourself speaking. Listening to recordings of yourself will allow you to notice areas where you can improve, without the pressure of others listening. You could also consider joining a group of learners who are at the same level as you. In these groups, you can share your fears and struggles with others who understand what you're going through. This creates a supportive environment where everyone is there to learn together and help each other. 6. Learn from feedback, not criticism. Sometimes fear of speaking comes from the fear of criticism. We worry about what others will think of us if we make mistakes. But instead of fearing criticism, embrace feedback as a tool for improvement. When you get feedback, don't see it as a judgment, but as an opportunity to get better. Listen to the feedback with an open mind and use it to improve your speaking. If someone corrects your grammar or pronunciation, see it as a learning opportunity, not as a reason to feel ashamed or discouraged. Feedback is a gift, and it can help you make progress faster. 7. Create a routine for regular speaking practice. Fear often arises from uncertainty. If you're not practicing regularly, you might feel unprepared and anxious when it's time to speak. However, when you practice regularly, you'll feel more confident in your abilities because you'll be used to speaking. Create a speaking practice routine that you follow every day or several times a week. This will give you the opportunity to improve your speaking skills gradually and naturally. By setting aside time each day to speak, you will not only reduce your fear, but also become more comfortable with using English. Regular practice allows you to track your progress, and over time, you'll see how much you've improved. 8. Remind yourself of the bigger picture. Sometimes fear of speaking comes from the idea that we're not good enough to speak English yet. It's important to remind yourself that language learning is a journey, and you're already on the right path. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to keep practicing. Think about why you're learning English in the first place. To open up opportunities, communicate with people around the world, and improve your personal and professional life. When you remember your reasons for learning English, the fear of speaking starts to feel smaller. You're doing this for yourself, and the fear will only hold you back. Push through it, and remind yourself that speaking English will open doors for you that are worth facing your fear. Overcoming the fear of speaking English is something every learner goes through, but with time and consistent practice, it becomes easier. By understanding that fear is normal, focusing on progress instead of perfection, starting small, using positive affirmations, and creating a supportive environment for speaking, you can overcome your fear and become a more confident English speaker. Remember, speaking is not just about saying the right words. It's about practicing, improving, and enjoying the process of becoming fluent. Keep going, and don't let fear hold you back. Practical tips to improve. Speaking. Improving your speaking skills in English requires practice, patience, and a solid strategy. If you understand English but find it hard to speak, don't worry. This is a common challenge. Fortunately, There are practical tips you can use to overcome this obstacle and improve your speaking skills. 1. Speak every day, even if it's just a little. One of the most effective ways to improve your speaking is to practice regularly. Try to speak in English every day, even if it's for just 5 to 10 minutes. The more often you speak, the more natural it will feel. You don't need to have long conversations with people. Simply talking to yourself, describing what you're doing, or narrating your thoughts in English can help you improve. Start small. For example, in the morning, describe the weather, your plans for the day, or how you're feeling. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it will help you get used to forming sentences and speaking in English. The key is consistency. 2. Find a language partner or conversation buddy. Having a language partner or conversation buddy is one of the best ways to practice speaking. This could be a friend, family member, or someone you meet online who is also learning English. A language exchange is a great way to practice because you both get the chance to speak and help each other. You can take turns speaking in English and your partner's native language, which makes it a two-way learning experience. If you don't have someone to speak with in person, there are many online platforms where you can find people to practice with. Websites like Italki, Tandem, or HelloTalk allow you to connect with other learners and native speakers. Choose someone who is supportive, patient, and understands that you're learning. This will make your practice more enjoyable and less stressful. 3. Listen and repeat. Imitate native speakers. Listening and repeating is a powerful way to improve your speaking. Watch TV shows, movies, or listen to podcasts in English, and then try to imitate the speaker. Focus on how they pronounce words, their intonation, and the rhythm of their speech. By copying the way they speak, you'll start to sound more natural. You can even pause the video or audio and try to repeat what was just said. This helps you practice your pronunciation and makes speaking feel more natural. Shadowing is a technique where you repeat the words immediately after hearing them. This not only helps with pronunciation, but also improves your fluency. 4. Expand your vocabulary. Having a good vocabulary is key to speaking fluently. The more words you know, the easier it is to express yourself in different situations. But instead of just memorizing words, try to learn phrases and expressions that are commonly used in everyday conversations. For example, instead of just learning the word happy, learn expressions like feeling on top of the world or over the moon. These will make you sound more natural and allow you to express your feelings more accurately. To expand your vocabulary, read books, listen to podcasts, and watch videos in English. When you come across a word or phrase you don't know, write it down and make an effort to use it in conversation. It's important to actively use the words you learn, rather than just recognizing them. 5. Record yourself. Recording yourself. Speaking can be an eye-opening experience. It allows you to hear your own pronunciation, tone, and fluency. When you listen to yourself, you can notice areas where you need improvement, such as mispronunciations or awkward pauses. You can start by reading aloud or speaking about a topic for a few minutes. Afterward, listen to the recording and evaluate your performance. Don't be afraid to make corrections and re-record yourself. Over time, you'll notice improvements in your speaking ability. 6. Think in English. Thinking in English is an essential skill for fluency. Often, when we speak in our native language, we translate what we want to say into English. This slows down our speaking and makes us hesitate while we search for words. Instead, try to think directly in English. When you encounter a situation where you need to speak, don't translate in your mind first. Just think and speak in English. This will help you respond more quickly and naturally. If you're unsure of a word, don't be afraid to use simple words or explain what you mean in a different way. The goal is communication, not perfection. 7. Use language learning apps. Language learning apps can be a great way to practice speaking, especially if you're looking for structured practice. Apps like Duolingo, Rosetta Stone, and Babbel offer speaking exercises that can help you practice pronunciation and sentence structure. Many apps also have speech recognition features that give you immediate feedback on your pronunciation. While these apps are helpful for practicing certain aspects of speaking, make sure to balance them with real-life conversation practice. Apps are great for learning vocabulary and basic grammar, but speaking with people will improve your fluency and confidence more quickly. 8. Practice speaking slowly and clearly. Many learners feel pressure to speak quickly, but speaking too fast can make it harder to communicate clearly. Instead of rushing, focus on speaking slowly and clearly. This will give you time to think about what you want to say and ensure that your words are understood. If you have trouble with certain sounds or words, practice those individually. Speaking slowly also allows you to focus on your pronunciation, making your speech clearer and more accurate. When you speak at a comfortable pace, you'll also feel less stressed. 9. Join speaking clubs or groups. Many cities and online communities offer language clubs or groups where learners can practice speaking with others. These groups are often informal and are designed to help people build confidence in speaking English. Joining a group like this gives you the chance to practice speaking in a relaxed environment where everyone is there to learn. Some organizations even offer public speaking workshops where you can practice speaking in front of an audience in a safe space. If you're looking for a more structured environment, these types of activities can help you gain confidence while practicing English. 10. Be patient and stay motivated. Improving your speaking skills takes time, so don't get discouraged if you don't see immediate results. Stay patient with yourself and recognize that improvement happens gradually. Celebrate small successes, such as speaking a full sentence without hesitation or making yourself understood during a conversation. To stay motivated, remind yourself of why you're learning English. Whether it's to travel, get a better job, or communicate with new people, keeping your goals in mind will help you stay committed to your practice. Consistency is key, so keep practicing regularly and trust that progress will come. Improving your speaking skills in English requires dedication, practice, and the right strategies. By speaking every day, finding a language partner, listening and imitating native speakers, expanding your vocabulary, recording yourself, and staying motivated, you can make significant progress. The key is to keep practicing, stay patient, and enjoy the learning process. The more you speak, the easier and more natural it will become. Don't let fear or hesitation hold you back. Keep speaking, and you will become more confident and fluent in English. Listening and speaking connection. Listening and speaking are two sides of the same coin when it comes to learning a language. In fact, these skills are closely connected, and improving one can have a direct impact on the other. Many learners struggle with speaking because they don't fully understand the connection between listening and speaking. However, once you realize how these skills work together, you can use that understanding to improve both your speaking and listening skills. The importance of listening for speaking. When we speak, we are essentially producing sounds, words, and sentences that we have heard before. That's why listening is such a crucial part of learning to speak. The more you listen to native speakers or fluent English speakers, the more you will absorb patterns, pronunciation, and vocabulary. By listening, you train your ear to understand the rhythm, intonation, and flow of the language. This is essential for speaking naturally and fluently. Listening helps you learn correct pronunciation and intonation. By listening to how native speakers pronounce words, sentences, and phrases, you can imitate their pronunciation. Intonation refers to the rise and fall of the voice while speaking. By listening, you learn when to use rising or falling tones, which helps you speak in a more natural-sounding way. Understand sentence structure. Listening to English in real-life contexts helps you see how words and sentences are arranged naturally. This allows you to form your own sentences in a way that makes sense to native speakers. Build vocabulary. The more you listen to English, the more words you will be exposed to. You will hear common phrases and expressions, as well as learn words used in different contexts. This exposure allows you to improve your speaking ability by giving you a wider range of vocabulary to choose from. Understand cultural references. Listening to native speakers helps you learn about culture-specific phrases, idioms, and expressions. Knowing these will make you sound more natural and allow you to better understand native speakers in conversations. The feedback loop between listening and speaking. Listening and speaking are part of a feedback loop that helps you become fluent. Here's how the feedback loop works. When you listen to English, you hear how words and sentences are structured. You also hear how sounds and words are linked together when spoken quickly. Then, when you try speaking, you apply what you've learned from listening. As you continue practicing speaking, you reinforce what you have heard. The more you listen and speak, the more your brain processes the language, helping you get better at both skills. For example, after listening to a podcast or a conversation in English, try to repeat what you've heard. You can even record yourself and compare it with the original recording. This allows you to spot differences in your pronunciation, intonation, and rhythm. It also helps you see which words or sounds you need to focus on to improve. The role of listening in fluency. Fluency in speaking doesn't just mean speaking quickly. It means being able to speak clearly and smoothly, without pausing too much or hesitating. Listening plays a huge role in achieving fluency because it helps you become familiar with how the language flows. When you listen to natural conversations, you'll notice that native speakers often speak in short phrases rather than long, complicated sentences. They also link words together, which is known as connected speech. For example, instead of saying, "Do you want to go to the park?" native speakers might say something that sounds like, "Do you want to go to the park?" This is natural speech that fluent speakers use all the time. By regularly listening to these patterns, you'll start to mimic them in your own speech. This allows you to speak more naturally, without thinking too much about grammar or structure. Over time, you will speak with more ease without worrying too much about the technical details. How listening helps you overcome. Speaking barriers. One of the biggest obstacles learners face is the fear of making mistakes while speaking. However, if you listen to native speakers or fluent speakers, you'll realize that mistakes are a normal part of communication, and everyone makes them, even native speakers. This understanding can help reduce anxiety and fear when you are speaking. When you listen to conversations in English, notice how speakers don't worry too much about making mistakes. They often fix mistakes easily without interrupting the flow of their conversation. This makes speaking feel more relaxed and natural. So, if you make a mistake, don't let it stop you from continuing the conversation. Remember, listening to real conversations helps you become more comfortable with natural communication, and you will gradually overcome your fear of speaking. Developing listening skills for speaking. Improvement. To use listening as a tool to improve your speaking, you need to develop good listening skills. Here are some tips for improving your listening skills, which will ultimately help improve your speaking. Listen to a variety of content. It's important to expose yourself to different accents, tones, and types of content. Watch movies, listen to podcasts, and engage with various forms of media in English. By listening to different types of content, you will train your brain to understand English in many contexts. For example, listening to podcasts about daily life is different from listening to news reports, so it's important to practice both. Start with slower content. If you're just starting out or struggling with listening, begin by listening to slower content designed for learners. There are plenty of podcasts, audiobooks, and YouTube videos made specifically for English learners. These will help you understand the basic structure and vocabulary of English. As you improve, you can move on to faster content, like native podcasts and movies. Use subtitles or transcripts. When you listen to videos or podcasts, use subtitles or transcripts if available. This helps you follow along and reinforces your understanding. It also helps you connect spoken words with written words. Try listening first without subtitles, and then watch again with subtitles. This will help you reinforce new vocabulary and understand how words are pronounced. Listen actively. Don't just passively listen to English. Engage with it. Focus on the speaker's tone, pauses, and phrasing. Pay attention to how they emphasize certain words and how the sentence structure changes when they want to express something important. Try to imitate these aspects when you speak. Active listening is key to improving both listening and speaking skills. Practice listening to real conversations. The best way to learn how to speak naturally is by listening to how people talk in everyday conversations. Find podcasts or audio materials that reflect real conversations between native speakers. This will expose you to common expressions, slang, and ways of speaking that are not always found in textbooks. The power of listening and speaking together. By focusing on both listening and speaking, you create a powerful combination that can significantly improve your fluency. Listening to the language and speaking it go hand in hand. When you hear more, you can speak more confidently and accurately. When you speak more, your brain becomes more accustomed to the sounds and rhythm of the language, which helps you understand it better when you hear it again. Remember, the more you listen, the better you speak, and the more you speak, the better you will listen. They are a dynamic pair, and by practicing both skills together, you will unlock the key to fluency in English. Conclusion. In conclusion, the connection between listening and speaking is incredibly powerful in the language learning process. Listening helps you absorb the sounds, rhythm, and structure of the language, while speaking allows you to apply what you've learned in real conversations. Both skills reinforce each other and are essential for becoming fluent in English. By actively listening to English, whether through podcasts, conversations, movies, or other media, you are training your brain to understand the language at a deeper level. This makes it easier to speak confidently and naturally. At the same time, practicing speaking allows you to put your listening skills to work, helping you express yourself clearly and effectively. Don't be discouraged if you find speaking challenging at first. With regular practice and a willingness to make mistakes, you will improve both your listening and speaking abilities. Remember, fluency comes with time, and every step you take toward listening more and speaking more brings you closer to your goal. So, keep listening to English content, practice speaking as much as you can, and trust that your skills will grow. The journey to fluency is not a race, but a steady process that will reward you with greater confidence, improved communication, and a deeper connection to the language. You've got this. Keep practicing, and soon you'll find yourself speaking more effortlessly and understanding English with ease.